Welcome. This is week 8 of Working with the Law with transformational life coach Christi Corradi.
Hello and welcome. Today we are talking about the law of non-resistance. And let's start first with setting the tone with our gratitudes and our proud of. So take a moment right now and think of something that you're grateful for and something that you're proud of. And then we'll speak that out into the atmosphere, the quantum field. My gratitude this morning was for my notebook, which seems kind of interesting, but it really helps me keep on track with my daily practice. And over the years, I have not been able to be consistent with my daily practice. So I don't know, I just felt grateful for my notebook. And then the proud of is I love being in this study and in this work. And in fact, I was talking about how we not only want to teach this work because we're being in service to people and it's our gift out in the world, but it also keeps us in the study and the practice. And so as I was studying this week, the law of non-resistance, I'm proud that I was able to shift some of my experiences, which I'm actually going to share in our talk. Today we are talking about the law of non-resistance. We can look at any aspect of our life and apply all of these laws to it. All of these laws seem to really speak to our abundance, how we receive life, how we live life, how we express life. And money in our lives is simply a tool. It's a frequency of energy. It's really just an indicator of our belief systems. And each one of these laws describe not just that, but our time, money, freedom, our health, our relationships, and our career and your philanthropy or your evocations are also in careers. We can check this across all of these laws, but the law of compensation and the law of non-resistance really speak to how we view ourselves. It's really about self-image. We have actually been trained to control and to resist. And the law of non-resistance is actually what is it that's holding us from experiencing our greatest freedom? And what is it that we need to let go of? And that's the law of non-resistance. You just let go, there it is, and you go around it, you deal with it, you experience it, and you don't resist it. The more you do that, the less there will be obstacles. So it's like, yes, in the beginning, we do hit those challenges, and we're breaking down a lot of paradigms, and so at first they look like really big boulders in our way. I'm thinking of the metaphor that Mary uses as the stream going down and how it goes around the rock. But over time, those rocks get smaller and smaller and less part of the obstruction. And then there's another beautiful part of it. They become the beauty also. I have generated this to heal some part of my life. Then it becomes smaller and smaller, partly because you become healthier and healthier. So you need less and less things to generate to help you be healthy. Bob Proctor says if a person resists a situation, he'll have it with him. That's just the way it is. If he tries to run away from it like a shadow, it follows him. And repeatedly, he'll be met again. If he ignores the hardness of the condition and fearlessly works around it, he will find time when the hard condition will have been absorbed and moved. Accept the condition as some evidence of good. Look for the good, and being acceptable to it, more and more evidence will appear that you're on the right track. So we've got to quit resisting things. So I want you to think right now of something that you can think of that might be something that you're resisting that's holding you back. Is it a self-judgment? Is it an outward judgment? What is it that you're resisting? What's still not fitting? So first of all, let's think of the river. I love the river image. So this is the river life, and plop down in the middle of the river is this big boulder. The water's rushing around, all the life-giving, flowing, and then there is this boulder in there that I feel bad. This is the fact versus the truth. What is the truth? Who are you? Who are you in truth? Because we want to identify this so that we can take this tool and use it again. Bob Proctor says, remove and dissolve every obstacle by blessing it and being willing to understand it. Mark it no longer as a stumbling block, but as a stepping stone leading to your highest good. I think the best explanation of the law of non-resistance is the whole kind of Aikido concept that rather than standing up against the force of what's coming at you, that you step aside and you let that force of whatever it is to follow itself through and allow its energy to take it on through and past you, beyond you. Non-resistance comes down to a lot of trust, to trust that this works, to trust that there are these laws in place and that we can understand them and use them to move us forward. And the law of non-resistance is really a great tool for almost like digging down into the deep depth of our psyche, if you will, and take a look at where are we resistant. And this was one of the places that I found myself this week as I'm studying this material. I'm on the board of Friends of Art Quest, which is the program that Aaron's in at school. And I tend to end up being kind of the fall guy or something for a lot of things that happen. And really, I go in there to serve, and that's my purpose, to serve. And so, a couple of years, there was some issues that came up around the decorations, around an event that we were having, and I kind of got the brunt end of it because I was the decoration chairperson. What did I do with that? I just kind of like saying, I'm here to serve. I do my best. And it often comes because I am a person of non-resistance. And another year came along and there was a similar situation. And the person who had kind of affected this had very clearly said that she wanted something one way. And then she changed her mind somehow and doesn't remember that she said that way. And it kind of got put on me that I had made this decision, and that's not true. And so it came up again that these are really simple, silly little things. Okay, so one of the things that we do for the kids at the end of the school year is we do an ice cream social at lunchtime for the Friends of Art Quest kids. And we go to Costco and we buy these multi-packs of ice cream bars. I was in charge of it last year. I did exactly what I was told to do. I went down to Costco to buy these bars, and they did not have them. And, of course, you have to buy the bars when they're frozen, and you load up these coolers, and then you go to the school and you distribute it. It all happens within an hour's time at Costco, right? There were not the cheap bars. There was only the expensive bars. So I made the decision that I'm not going to go back empty-handed and not have anything to give these kids, and I made the decision to buy the expensive bars. So it cost us more money. So at the follow-up meeting said, well, let's scoop ice cream for the kids. I'm like, I don't really want to do that, but okay, if you want to get ice cream to scoop, that's really messy. It seems like a hassle. I'll have to get more volunteers, but sure, I'll do that, whatever the committee wants. So this is the idea of non-resistance. Well, a member that had been on our board returned on our board, and I wasn't at the last meeting, and it came up that we were going to scoop ice cream. I mean, is this like the most silly thing to be talking about, at a board meeting for how we're going to support our kids, right? And it's like, why is she, I wasn't even there, right? Why is she thinking of scooping? I wasn't thinking of scooping ice cream. I was doing what I was told, and I got so much flack at a meeting that I wasn't at for making a decision like this. And this person who had come back, he went, called Costco, found out that they would be delivering those bars this week. We were going to have this ice cream social last week. And he said, I'll go and take this. I'm like, great, you want to take this project on? Go with it and run with it. And we were at our last board meeting last night. And I just sat there with this feeling of like, I just get tired of being the fall guy for this. And then as I was studying this material, I just went, you know what? I can be the fall guy all they want. I don't care. What am I there to do? I am there to be in service. And if they need a scapegoat or whatever. So I was all prepared to write a letter to the whole board saying, I'm tired of this. And I thought, what's that going to accomplish? Is that going to help me be more in service? No. So what's the path of least resistance? And I'm using this very simple, silly kind of story about menial things that, it's great to serve the kids, but it's not even the function of the Friends of Art Quest board. It's really to support and enrich the art programs at the school. So how can I continue to be in service? But looking at this concept of non-resistance can allow us to go in and find those squeaky places that maybe we are resisting and just asking ourselves, what's the true essence? What's really behind this? What is it that I want to accomplish? And how can I let go of being in resistance? Somewhere I got this fact that our bodies do not naturally wear down. What wears down our body is friction. And when I heard that, I thought so much because, I had this knee injury when I was in my 20s. And as a result of this knee injury, my left knee didn't track properly. And eventually what happened is that there was so much friction between my joints that it caused arthritis. And I don't know, when they pulled out my knee, he said it was pretty gnarly in there, right? So, and I just thought about that, and I thought, if we don't have friction in our physical body, it doesn't wear down. And so to keep ourselves lubricated and in good health, and, the strengthening, how I got to my rehab so well was that I had really spent a lot of time strengthening my muscles. So when I got my new knee, I was in full support of the new knee and not creating more friction. And I thought about that in this whole idea of things that go on in our lives, thoughts that we have. Who are we resisting? What are we resisting? Having a 16-year-old and just seeing almost all of his conversation seems to be about resistance. And in this era, in this age, it is part of the individuation process. So I totally understand it. But on the other hand, as a mom who's in this work and wanting to support him, as we were driving to the Maker Fair on Sunday, I just said, I'd like to just share you one of the tools that I share with my others. Oh, Mom, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, come on, just listen to this. And I gave him the idea of the thermometer that I've used with you guys, the negative vibration of things being at the bottom and the higher vibration of things being at the top. And I just kind of wanted to give him that visual, and I want to give it to you again of just being able to track and take a look at, he's kind of gotten into checking out using foul language. And I just wanted him to have a visual to say, what is the vibration of this rather than, oh, I'm cool, I can use this. What is the vibration of what I'm putting out in the world? And if we can take a look at that, at everything that we're thinking, everything that we're doing, we can ask ourselves, is this a place of resistance? Is this a low-level thought or thinking? And that's what we can do in our everyday life. It's like, what is, even driving, we can just ask ourselves right now, what is the highest vibrational thought that I can be at in this situation that I'm experiencing? It's just like when you start to train for a marathon, right? The first few days out, the first few months it would be for me, it's a lot of training, exercising, repetition. And it's great to have replacement thoughts to input in it. So what would be a non-resistant replacement thought to the discord? The whole Aikido thing of how can you step out of the way, stand true in who you are, and let them and their process do their thing. Carry it to wherever it's carrying them. So it's a practice, it's repetition. So it's just paying attention. Again, one of the core pieces of this work is noticing what you're noticing. And so that's why that image of the thermometer, it's like something goes on. You can check out, where does this thought lie on the thermometer? Now, how can I bring a higher vibration thought into this? This will 180 degrees change your life as you learn this practice, this skill. So what are some of the things that you're experiencing resistance in? What have you noticed? Where are you at in the idea of resistance versus non-resistance? So this week you could write down 3 things that you're currently resisting in your life. Visualize how these things can change if you alter your perception of them and apply the law of non-resistance.
Thank you for listening to this podcast. Here are 2 exclusive podcast listener offers. First, for a limited time, podcast listeners can work with Christy in person at a deep discount. Christy offers a unique coaching modality of her own creation that helps clients discover their own answers to where they're stuck and how to move forward. As one of her clients puts it, it always works. This transformative process is designed to help you identify blocks and create breakthroughs in your personal and professional life. As a thank you for listening to the podcast, you're eligible for a special discount. Normally $97 for a half-hour introductory session, podcast listeners get a $70 discount automatically applied if you use this link, masteringtheartoflife.com/podcast-IWD-offer. That's masteringtheartoflife.com/podcast-IWD-offer. And that link is in the podcast general description as well. Second, you can get the entire library of Mastering the Art of Life with PDF notes and worksheets for each lesson, plus bonuses at no cost at masteringtheartoflife.com/9-month opt-in, all one word, masteringtheartoflife.com/9-month opt-in. That link is also in the general podcast description.